It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your feel-good breakfast. Now, of all the rodents in the world, rats must be, I think, some of the most feared. We think they are dirty and carry diseases, but is that really the case? Hopefully, we're going to break down that stigma today. Are rats really as bad as we think they are? Well, today, Eileen Slabber joins us in studio to tell us a little bit more about these incredibly intelligent creatures that we sadly often call pests. Now, many of us have probably had an encounter with a rat at least once in our lives, and I'm sure most of us would rather avoid rats at any cost. Well, we wouldn't want to come across them in our homes or at work. They certainly do carry connotations with them. These reactions probably have a lot to do with the misconceptions a lot of us have about rats. So Eileen is here today to share with us some of her incredible knowledge base in this area. He looks quite cute there. They are very bright, very intelligent, and I think if we dial it back a few years, a few hundred years, in fact, I think one of the biggest misconceptions, or one of the stigmas attached to them, that they spread, or did spread, the plague, bubonic plague. Is that true?
It's partly true, but there is a misconception because it's actually the fleas of the rats that actually spread the disease, and we haven't had any recent cases in South Africa.
I think one of where this misconception really comes to bear for me is the inhumane way that we deal with them when we call them pests. And obviously you don't want any kind of rodent or any infestation in a place where people live, where there's food. How do we deal with rat infestations in a humane way?
Okay. Firstly, yes, humane ways in the pest control. You have to start thinking like a rat. You have to understand them. You have to start knowing what a rat likes, and you want to make sure that you use like snap traps that will kill them immediately. We also call it the trigger traps, and that's the most humane because it will kill them instantly. Or there is live trapping available as well.
I have to ask, because I think there are a lot of people out there going like, why would you get interested in rats? Where did your love affair with rats first begin? How come you have this affiliation, this love of these little creatures?
I think it's just, you start caring for it. I had also, when I was younger, also pet rats. And when you're in the pest control as well, it's very difficult. And you want to educate people that they understand that you have to clean, you have to sanitize, you have to make sure that rats, you keep them out, don't invite them into your homes and premises.
I think that's a preventative measure is vitally important. Are there areas that are more prone to this? If we have to use kind of South African, as a context, what areas are likely to have rats? What are some of those warning signs that we need to look at when we wanted to prevent infestations?
Prevention, it starts at home, it starts at your premises. You have to make sure you get rid of any food source, any water. Harbourage areas is very important to eliminate any harbourage areas. You have to close openings, because any opening like a 1 centimetre will actually let a rat come in. And you have to make sure, like the photo there, you can see there's gaps, openings there that rats can enter. You don't want to have overhanging trees to your premises. You need to close your toilet lids. Use concrete and cement and steel wool when you close these holes.
Because they are very wily creatures, and they'll find a way through, and very persistent at that. So, and we're going to continue this discussion. We'd love to hear from you. 021 430 9881. If you have any questions relating to rats, please pose them. Eileen has got a wealth of knowledge. Now, we turn our attention to the other pets that we have in our house, and keeping your dog comfortable as they grow older is something that every dog owner needs to consider. So consider this.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Rats. We are talking about the little furry creatures, rats. We often view them as pests, but there are so many measures we can take, preventative measures, to ensure that they don't get out of hand. And we've got Eileen Slabber here, who has, she's blown my mind with some really interesting facts. The fact that a rat only needs a centimetre gap to be able to sneak into your house, because they can actually collapse their skeleton to the size of a snake. That is mind-blowing. So I'm guessing that there are different rat species that you would have encountered. Did they behave differently?
Yes, definitely. We've got the roof rat, or we call it also the ceiling rat. And these are the rats when you actually, those are the ones that it sounds like they're playing soccer on your ceiling. So they're the ones that actually live also in cavity wall areas in your house or your premises. And they prefer fruit and vegetables. So they go for your fruit trees in your garden as well. And then you get your Norway rat. We call him also your drain rat. And they prefer to burrow actually into ground surfaces, and you can actually then go underground, and they've got a whole community underground that they will live in, and also into drains, and they're the ones that actually can come through your toilet into your premises.
They're incredibly well adapted for an urban environment, and here we're kind of giving you a sense of scale. I think we've all heard those urban legends about rats the size of cats. What's the biggest rat you've encountered in your journey?
Yes, we do see them, and we do meet them face to face. And I promise you, sometimes our clients,
oh my word,
they rather not follow us into the dark, and they would let us go on our own and rather don't follow us. But definitely Cape Town CBD is the ones where I've seen the largest ones in Cape Town, definitely.
What is the life cycle of a rat? Because obviously a part of them becoming such an issue is the fact that they breed incredibly quickly and en masse. How quickly can an infestation kind of set in?
A pair of rats can actually make in 1 year 2,000 rats. So yes, they can breed very fast.
That is a little bit terrifying. So we asked our viewers to pose some questions, and Gail came through with an interesting question. Yeah, she says, or asks, that they say that rats are really intelligent. I think they really are. How have you found this in terms of you having to combat them on their turf? How intelligent are rats?
Extremely, extremely intelligent. And this is why you have to also know what species you encounter. Because if you have a roof rat, you need to know where to place your traps, your baits. If it's a Norway rat, you need to know also then, so your method is the same, but your placements of your baits will be different.
You've got to know your enemy, but I think the key thing here is to make sure that we are dealing with them in a humane way as much as possible. And hopefully we've broken down some of those misconceptions about these furry little critters. In fact, so many people love them to the point that they have them as pets, so we'll be discussing that. But we'd love to hear from you guys as well. 021 430 9881. Eileen, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso, and we are talking about rats, and we are hopefully now going to change your perception of these little creatures. They are very bright. We know that unchecked they use their intelligence to incredibly good effect, but they are not in fact pests that should be avoided. We can actually adopt them as beautiful little pets, and I say that because I'm looking at them right now. Roisin Hendricks, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You are a very proud rat owner. Yes. First of all, I have to ask, please introduce us to these little creatures.
Okay, we've got Oreo, my fancy rat, and then my two wild roof rats are Buddha and Rosebud.
Buddha and Rosebud, how's it, guys? How are you doing? And the fancy rat, and he's got this awesome expression on his face right now. He's like, yeah, I'm a fancy rat. He's a big guy as well. Why rats? What attracted you to rats as pets?
I've always been interested in the rat's intelligence.
And do they blow your mind with their intelligence?
They really do. Seriously, they are born students.
So what sort of things do you kind of do with them? How have you been able to see their intelligence in action?
With Oreo, my oldest rat, there is 3 years old. I love training him in the coolest little tricks. He comes when called, almost always.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man, and he is beautiful. I love the name Oreo, really does fit. So when looking at caring for a rat, and they do look beautiful, they look so happy and they're in beautiful condition, what do you have to consider? How do you look after a rat?
Well, keeping your cage clean is most important. If you keep your cage clean, your rat can keep itself clean. And then we also have to consider the diet. With my rats, they mainly have 2 bowls in each cage, one with rat food, seeds, and all the favorite goodies, and then another with fruit, veg, and meat, everything they really need to stay healthy.
A well balanced, and I've just learned now that roof rats do, they love vegetables and fruit. That's one of the reasons why they take up residence with us. I've got to ask, do you get strange reactions from people when they find out that you have rats as pets?
All the time, all the time. I've been called crazy for owning rats, but I think everyone in the pet rat community has gone through that.
It must be so worth it. What is your favorite thing about these little creatures? If you had to put it out there for someone to own a rat, why would you recommend it?
Because of the love and companionship that they bring. They are really affectionate, seriously affectionate.
Oh man, I'm loving them, man. And for me, this facial expression on Oreo is just too priceless. Thank you so much, Roshin, for first of all looking after these beautiful pets as well as you are. They look like they are loving life at the moment, but hopefully we've changed your perception just a little bit about these incredible creatures. We'll have some information on our Facebook page of how you can connect with that community. It's a community of rat owners out there. I wish we could come up with another name for them as well. They are so, so sweet. The sweetest rodents I've met.